Hello there. Welcome and thanks for being here. Welcome to another quickfire discussion on new technology. Thank you to Rohan, Australian Account Director for Certus for the asset intensive industry, for being here. How are you going today?
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Now, today's quickfire business challenges: what new technology is available to help the decision makers in my business make more informed calls on how to be more environmentally conscious in our operations? So, I guess the first question I've got for you, Rohan, is what's the importance of keeping up with new technology in your business?
Look, quite frankly, customers and corporations have to keep up with the technology since the turn of this century. So keeping up with technology is not new, but it's just the pace of an emerging technology that coming through is quite challenging for customers to keep up with. For example, in our asset intensive business, we've got customers where they've got major amount of IoT sensors and IoT devices into their machines and plants. And gone are the days where those assets were dumb and mute. The assets talk these days; they produce data. So the challenge for some of our customers is how do you harness that data from the IoT devices? Then the challenge comes in is you create copious amount of data, but what do you do with it? How do you have run some analytics and AI and machine learning algorithms on top of that to harness the right data that's more effective and impactful for your businesses? Yeah. So that's really important for some of our customers. Sustainability is a major thing for asset intensive customers where uh, the new ESG frameworks and norms will impact how our customers do business. So they have to look at that, and it's quite evident from the markets getting ready for that. For example, IBM's recent acquisition of NBC is a testament that they're making investment in such technologies to help our customers grow. So it's technology all over. There's new and emerging technology. It's about keeping pace with the technology and choosing the right technology or what will help you get your business outcomes.
One of the things I've always found fascinating about this, because my father actually worked in asset management, and he, being the age that he was, had challenges when there were upgrades to technology. And some of the upgrades he was absolutely fine with. He felt it made perfect sense. Others he felt were just there because they were there. I'm kind of curious, what sort of challenges do you think are typically faced with new technology in that asset intensive space?
The the major challenge that we see is from a change management perspective, and like you rightly said, your father have entered a plan with the information of that machine and how do you maintain that machine and what goes in that machine with all the data up here in his brain. Whereas, everybody realizes that we have aging workforce and the workforce is getting out of business and to replace that aging workforce, you cannot, hold back the brains that this person's leaving. But the new workforce that's coming through is, you know, uh, maybe not millennials, but they're quite tech savvy. They come in with their iPad, they come in with, their mobile phone. So they make a lot of decisions based on data. So I call that as a data-driven decisions. Uh, so that is where we see a lot of challenge. How do you harness that knowledge of the people who are getting out of the system and how you transfer that knowledge uh, to the new people who are coming through and technology fits in really well here that you harness that knowledge into a system that you can then actually give it to these young people who are coming who are data driven to make those effective decisions.
Makes a lot of sense, and I know in his case, he actually went back to work after retiring because they wanted to be able to do that
Yeah,
transfer of knowledge.
yeah.
It bought him a jag. He was
People,
very happy.
yeah, seeing people retiring and coming back. You know, uh, Examples within my customers who people who've come back on their own time and said, "I'm gonna help you build this system up, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna sort of create my digital twin in a system, and then people can work through."
Yeah. Exactly. So, what are some strategies then that people can use to maximize the potential of new technology?
So, from a strategy perspective, I think first and foremost, companies who are getting onto this journey need to conduct a comprehensive analysis of what products are out there in the market. It's really important to understand what products. There's so many propagandas from multiple companies coming through, but one needs to be extremely clear on what that technology has to offer. Before you do that, you need to define your clear objectives. What do you want to achieve out of that technology? If you're talking about a maximum asset management, how far and how deep you want to go using that asset management. If you just want to do the managed part of the business, which is looking at your assets, the health, or do you want to take it forward to do more predict, analytics, visual inspection? So you need to be clear with your objectives on what you want to achieve out of that system. You know, you need
It-
sorry,
It's all right.
I thought you were saying something. So you need to have a technology roadmap in front of you, and that technology roadmap just doesn't have to be a very short-sighted technology roadmap that you bring in an asset management solution, and then it's going to get rid of all your problems and challenges. You need to have a continuous improvement piece in that. And when I say continuous improvement, is get your house in order, get the objectives clear, meet those objectives, and then take you on a path of continuous improvement. How you can offer more to the business, how can you offer more to the community, and how can you offer your investments by having those investments in the technology pay back in ROI. So you need to have that continuous improvement. The other thing, what I am a serious advocate of is engage with your vendor ecosystem. The vendor ecosystem is changing these days. A lot of people are not coming and pushing their own agenda in it. The world's based on information, so the customers are well informed before they come in. So you can't, misrepresent fact. They know what they want. So you engage with them. They've got a lot of point of views. They are willing to engage with you to give you those outcomes. So I have to listen to them. Yeah. uh, then you need to look at your trainings and some of the data integrations, because you can't have systems existing in silos these days, right? All of these systems have to be integrated. They talk to each other. For example, if Maximo, and if you are on a sustainability mission and you want to, meet your ESG goals, and let's say you go ahead and implement uh, IBM NVC, how do you integrate NVC with Maximo to get an end-to-end analysis on how your assets are performing and what is that meaning, what that relates to your sustainability goals? Uh, and then,
Do you
first and foremost, you have to monitor and evaluate your progress.
I think that's a very important one. I think a lot of people forget to do that, to be honest. The monitoring and evaluating progress is,
It has to,
it feels like a small step, but it's the most important in many ways.
definitely.
Do you have any sort of examples of where somebody you know or somebody that you've worked with, one of your clients, without naming names, um, have had some really good outcomes just to how they've looked at sustainability?
In within Australia, we've seen an emergence of discussions on the sustainability. I think the ESG framework, everybody's aware of those ESG frameworks and what changes they have to make to those ESG frameworks. I think they are consuming that information and analyzing what impact they have, in the future from their business perspective. Yeah, and I think it's more prevalent and a couple of steps ahead in the US and the European market. But I'm engaged with a couple of customers, especially from the retail side, and they are looking at holistic view of how their supply chain can go green in terms of understanding what their scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions are. How can you cut out on the scope 3 emissions, because some of the scope 3 emissions or scope 3 parameters don't get reported, but they want to have those understanding of what those parameters are. And once they understand that, they want to take this to the next level by engaging with their vendors and suppliers to participate in those programs so that the whole chain end to end happens, right from your retailers to your suppliers to your manufacturers to your transportation companies. So we've seen retail companies, the obvious. In Australia, so one of the largest retail companies is already embarking on that journey. We've seen some of our manufacturing customers also uh, getting focused on understanding the scope ones, twos, and threes, and putting those strategy in place. So I think the market's emerging, the market's getting serious about it. It's not the fear of God that the compliance would impact your business and the ability to do business, ability to get capital funding from the banks or the ability to get credits from the banks. But I think things are doing the right thing. They're conscious about the environment. So collectively, they are putting those strategies together.
Absolutely fantastic answers today, Rowan. Thank you very much for joining me. Uh, for anybody who's listening who wants to download more of these episodes, we've got a whole bunch online. You can access them now. For Rowan, what we're going to do is actually put your details and the Certus website in the description so people can track down what Certus does and find out a little bit more about what you do so they can reach out and have a chat to you if they want to learn a little bit more. Until next time, thank you very much for joining me.
100%. Thank you. Thanks for having me.